Hi, you guys. Thank you so much for coming today. And if you're catching this later, I can't wait to connect with you and see what your thoughts are on all of this. I am so eager to share about women's health. I don't pretend to be an expert, but I am an expert in being a woman. So trying to figure that out and learning lots of things and really just been able to embrace a really cool mindset about all of this that I really want to share because I think it is incredibly empowering to be able to not only have the positive mindset around it, but also being able to have some really true natural solutions that can work, really digging into food and what that looks like and how we can really use that to our advantage. So we'll share about that today. I do have notes because I don't want to forget some of the things that I wanted to share with you. But a lot of times when we start talking about women's health, we start talking about all the things that are wrong or all the things that could go wrong or all the things that are a challenge for us. And I want to kind of flip the script on that a little bit and actually talk about the things that we do want, right? I think the more we can think about what we do want, then we are just really inviting that in and we're going after what we do want versus really honing in on all of these things that could or might be wrong per se, or keeping us not feeling our best, that sort of thing. So let's stick to the positive side of things today. And so let's talk about some of the things that we can do to help support us and really help us kind of get into this mindset of listening to our body. And so I teach kids that all the time as an occupational therapist. I'm always teaching them ways that they can tune into their body, listen to their body. And then it's really been some aha moments for me over the past couple of years of really starting to notice things going on in my body and realizing that we can sit with those and get what we want from that. So let's talk about some ways that we can respond to our body with love and kindness. And so one of the big ways that we're going to talk about doing that is to feed the detox organs, really support our body in detoxing, some daily habits that we can use with our supplements, with our food, get into the habits of reading labels and crowding out. I don't really like to talk much about restriction and that sort of thing. I think that diets, there are lots of them and they have their place. However, I think the more we can think about kind of crowding out the things that don't serve us, fueling us with the things that do, that's going to feel better for us. And then we'll talk a little bit about just kind of swapping out some products that also can really have an impact on our body as women, as our hormones are trying to do their thing, lots of chemicals in our personal care, our beauty products, all those kind of things, cleaning, those things can really have an impact on our body. So if we can start thinking about wanting to swap those out, that's going to help us. I will chat a little bit about living a 28-day lifestyle versus trying to beat a 24-hour clock. And also really kind of getting into this mindset of canceling the shoulds and embracing the I wants. We live in a culture of shoulds and it becomes really hard on us and all the things that we are trying to accomplish if we're kind of stuck in the shoulds. So let's really reframe and chat about the wants today. With doTERRA, doTERRA has an awesome wellness lifestyle kind of tower, if you will. And you can kind of look this image up right on their website, but it starts out with that foundation of, eating good foods that serve our body, movement that serves our body. So that's different for everyone. And it might even be different during different parts of our cycle. I'll talk about that too. Rest and managing our stress, reducing the toxic load, as I mentioned, and then really choosing that informed self-care. The more we know, the better choices we can make for ourselves. And then really taking that proactive, integrative medical approach with finding physicians, finding healthcare providers who really are showing up to be partners with you versus just kind of telling you what to do or handing you a medication or things like that. Really want to get into this partnership as we are looking for that support. So we'll start out with that foundation today, you guys. We'll talk about the eating piece of it, right? There's so many different diets out there that are going to tell us the shoulds. But if we can start to recognize what our body responds to, you're going to start to feel different. And so I do always encourage people, if you do feel like you have some things going on, some chronic digestive issues, those kind of things, and you haven't really been able to figure that out, I would suggest that you try to work with a physician or an integrative medicine practitioner that can help you look at food intolerance, food allergies, really just being able to make sure that those things aren't happening for you so that you can really hone in on what it is that's going to support your body. For me, that was incredibly changing for my journey to find out what things I had an intolerance to. My intolerance was fruit. I always like to share that because I thought I was eating very healthy, but when my body wasn't responding to fruit, it actually was having a reaction as if I wasn't eating healthy foods. And so being able to work with that and know that was very empowering, be able to eliminate a lot of those things, heal up, and then be able to add them back in. To now, years later, I'm at a spot where I can have those back into, and I am super aware of what's going on in my body. And so I know the things that will respond in a more positive way, and then the things that I just continue to keep kind of out. So that I always recommend that if that's something that you've been dealing with, looking into that is a really important key to help reduce inflammation. A lot of inflammation is happening in our body due to the foods that we're taking in. In general, for women's health, eating more plants, eating food that's really going to feed our liver, that's really working to help detox, it's going to be good. Things like your fruits and your veggies, good fats, you know, our grass-fed butter, ghee, coconut oil, avocado, our sesame flax. I'll talk about that a little bit here in a second. Our nuts and seeds, those can be really helpful for us. And then herbs, cilantro and rosemary, those are really great detox herbs. And then wanting to make sure that we are starting to crowd out those processed foods, those sugars. I know for me, it was kind of a big deal to start reading labels and noticing how much sugar is in a lot of the things that are on the market for us, right? And I just like to share this because I think it's important if you're not currently a label reader or you're just starting a journey with this. It is recommended that women can really only kind of process and be able to absorb about 26 grams of sugar a day. And so if you start to look at labels and start to see these things, you'll start to be really surprised how fast that can add up. And it really is a big sign that a lot of inflammation going on in our body has to do with processed foods and sugars. So again, it's not about deprivation. It doesn't mean we can't have those. It's really about a mindset shift. And how can we crowd those out with some other things using, you know, sweet fruits and vegetables and those kind of things that our body is able to absorb and get more nutrients from it. The fiber in that helping to break it down. So just some helpful tips there as we're starting to think about ways that we can use food as fuel when we're looking to feel good. Also drinking quality teas and then dark chocolate, you guys. This is my treat of choice for sure. And so I will lean on dark chocolate often. There's lots of great antioxidants in there. And so this is something that you'll find you're able to kind of crowd out some other things by still having those treats that you enjoy. And then seed cycling, I talked about seeds a little bit and how those healthy fats can be very supportive. If you're not familiar with seed cycling, hang on just a second, Allison. 26 grams, does that include fruits and sweet veggies or just added sugars? So yes, I think from my understanding that it is more about added sugars. So with our fruits and veggies, we have that fiber going for us that's going to help to break down those natural sugars. Our body's going to absorb it in a different way. Great question. So seed cycling, you guys, this is another great way to support our body as women. And so what this is eating certain seeds during certain times of your cycle. And this can actually be done in like perimenopause and menopause as well. It's going to help to support some of those things that you might be experiencing, like hot flashes, night sweats, fatigue, mood swings, those kind of things that also happen as you're moving away from the menstrual cycle. But this is taking in pumpkin seeds and flax seeds in our first part of our cycle, and then sunflower seeds and sesame seeds in that second part of the cycle. And so this is really actually helping our body. It's kind of giving it a nudge for that estradiol metabolism. And so it's helping the hormones go in that right direction. And so we want to make sure that our hormones are, they're higher at certain times, and sometimes they can stay high. And so that's where we start to have unwanted symptoms. And so this seed cycling is going to be able to help support that. If you aren't in a menstrual cycle any longer, you can actually follow the moon cycle. So if you can look up the moon cycle and you can kind of figure that out, and you can use the moon cycle to help support like where you would be taking these seeds in. Ways to take them in. For me, I actually oftentimes just put them on top of salads. It makes it just easy for me to get them in. You can also, make little protein or snack balls that you can include them in. You can include them in your smoothies. Lots of ways to get them in, but you'll want to do 1 tablespoon of flaxseed and pumpkin seed at the beginning of the cycle, and then 1 tablespoon of sunflower and sesame seeds in the second part, and that's daily that you're taking those in, and that's really just going to help our body be able to balance those hormones so that we're in a good place of where we want those throughout the month. Supplementation. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, I had taken vitamins off and on throughout the years. I'm not sure I really ever got anything good from them enough to make me think that I need to keep taking them. And so when I started working with doTERRA, lots of the gals who had been with doTERRA for a while kept telling me about the lifelong vitality vitamins. Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. I have more energy, less, I don't have brain fog anymore. My hair, my nails, all the good things were happening for these women. And so I was like, okay, so doTERRA has a 30-day money back guarantee with the lifelong vitality vitamins. So I was like, why not? So I gave them a try, and oh my gosh, they were right. So many things started to shift for me, you guys. For energy, I used to struggle a lot with joint pain. Lots of inflammation things were going on in my body, as I had mentioned, from food and those kind of things, and trying to heal and move away from that. Hair falling out. I had lots of thyroid issues going on. So many different things that these vitamins really did make such a huge positive impact on my wellness. And I really see them as a nutrition supplement. They are a whole food source. You really are getting a ton of chelated minerals in there that our body needs. doTERRA did actual clinical trials on vitamins. Just side note, vitamin companies don't do clinical trials on vitamins because they know they're not going to get the results that they need to keep their things on the market. And to keep people wanting them. And so that was pretty huge for doTERRA to do the clinical trials and to really see the impact that these are having. And so they've done a really amazing job in the research they've done behind them to make sure what's in them is a really good amount for the vitamins and the minerals in them. And so they've got some really great quality fish oils in the omegas, as well as botanicals. And if you are vegan, they actually do have vegan, the lifelong vitality also comes in vegan. So super, super helpful to really make sure that our body is absorbing what we need. Even when we're eating well, you guys, the food or the soil that our food is grown in is really actually so depleted of minerals and vitamins that we need now because of the farming practices that are happening. And so we really do need to tap into this quality supplementation to get our body what it needs. Another supplement that I really love to recommend are the pterozymes. Pterozymes are digestive enzymes. They really help to break down our foods. If you are moving away from eating processed foods, or maybe like me, when we can, you like to be social and enjoy those things, and you don't want to feel like you're too restricted Taking these Terrazymes can really help when we're having those bigger meals or those detour meals, as I call them, to really help our body be able to break down the food, get the nutrients we need, have that cellular level energy that our body is really craving. And then it actually helps to promote just GI comfort, right? If we eat too much or we're eating something that's kind of out of the norm for us, we might feel some discomfort. And so this is going to help us with that. And then it also has a tummy tamer blend in there of some peppermint, ginger, and caraway, which is really settling for the stomach. And then the other supplement that I wanted to talk about today that's been huge in overall health, but I definitely think in women's health too, is the PB Assist probiotic. So I had taken probiotics over the years before working with doTERRA. And so I really dug into these when I started working with doTERRA to see the quality of them, what was in them. And these really are top notch, you guys. They have a time release capsule on them. So they're double encapsulated, which sets them apart from a lot on the market. The double encapsulation is actually going to survive the stomach and get to the lower intestine where our body actually needs it to support and feed the healthy bacteria. So we want to make sure that we're feeding the healthy bacteria, especially for our immune system, for our emotional health. Actually, 90% of our serotonin, that's our happy chemical, is actually originating in our gut. So really tapping into and caring for our gut health is incredibly important for our mental health. And so I'm a big fan. I actually recently just ran out of, I usually have 2 bottles so that I don't run out. And I did a promotion where I bought them together with something else and then realized I didn't have them. So I was without them for about a week. Yeah, they're working. So I noticed just different things happening in my body, different GI discomfort things, mood things actually. So yes, they really are doing great things to support that healthy gut bacteria. And they also have a prebiotic in there. So prebiotics are great for making sure that we are actually kind of feeding the probiotics. It's kind of like fertilizer for the probiotics. So I also love that doTERRA has that the prebiotic in there as well. There are a couple of supplements that doTERRA has that are specific to women's health. Those are the phytoestrogen complex. And this really helps to balance and support just normal hormone levels. And it provides that estrogen metabolism that I was talking about. Now the name says phytoestrogen in there. This is not an estrogen product. It actually is a flax product. And then it has genistein soy in it. And so there's a lot of mixed stuff out there about soy and the impact on hormones. It really is about how it's sourced and grown. And so the genistein soy in these actually is really supporting that hormone balance in our body. It also helps to support our healthy bones, our hearts, our breast tissue. All of these things are really great to add this in. And so that's the phytoestrogen complex. And then there's also bone nutrient. And so the bone nutrient actually is just increasing the vitamin D intake that we're taking, calcium intake, magnesium, all of these really important vitamins and minerals that our body really needs, specifically as women. So that was a little bit about food and supplementation for women, you guys. I want to talk about toxic load. This was a big part of my journey in trying to kind of swap things out and figure out what was actually at the root of some of these things. So I already talked about GI and how a lot of the root of what kind of wasn't getting me where I wanted to feel was kind of rooted in that GI piece of it. But another big one, you guys, was toxic load. And so this is, you know, I used to love enjoying those plugins in the walls and the sprays and the Bath and Body Works lotions and all of those, you know, fun deals that we could get with all those smell goods. And they are just ladled with toxins, you guys. The more I dug in, the more I learned. It was just so incredible. I actually was really floored by what I was learning because I thought if they were on the market, they have to be safe, right? The thing is, they don't have to be tested. There's very few ingredients in these things that are actually tested. And that's just how the regulation works. And so unfortunately, it really is up to us to get curious about it, to understand what's in our products. So that's why I always encourage to start is just to start looking at the products you're using, your cleaning products, your personal care products, your beauty products. Look at the ingredients. If you're finding a lot of things that you don't understand or you don't know, it's likely that they are chemical laden, and it would be helpful for your body to help you kind of get those feelings that you do want by crowding them out and swapping over to some more natural products. So I did that. That was a big part of my journey. Actually, before I even went on the GI side of it, I started with the cleaning products. So that's kind of how I started using essential oils, actually, was the cleaning products. And so I just started making my own. It's actually incredibly affordable to do that. I make my own all-purpose sprays, toilet bowl cleaners, hand soaps. Just being able to make those things is so incredibly empowering. And it also is actually super budget friendly. Our essential oils, these bottles last a long time. There's, like 250 drops in a bottle, right? So you're only using a little bit. It's going to go a long way. I have specific recipes that I can always share with you guys. Feel free to text me if you kind of are looking at swapping out some of your cleaners. In the beginning, we have this mindset that we have a cleaner for every job. And I remember when I first switched, I was making a cleaner for every job still. And then as I started using it over the years, it really has become this all-purpose. And so I just have very few cleaners that I'm using now because they are really versatile and can use them for many different things. So really being able to swap that out. One of the biggest things you want to look for is fragrance, you guys. This is just, there's no regulation around fragrance. So there's absolutely no way for us to know what it is. And so it really can wreak havoc. They are doing research. They're really showing the evidence behind this, that they are showing that it's having issues or having an impact on reproductive health, breathing. I mean, now it's just so incredible that I can clean the bathrooms and not have a hard time breathing. I just remember what that used to feel like, right? It just became like this little habit of thinking you needed these smells for it to be clean, and that's really not the case. Cleaners for tile floors that won't strip them. Yes. So the On Guard cleaning concentrate is actually an incredible all-purpose. You can use it on all surfaces. It's very concentrated, so you're just going to dilute it down with water, and you'll be able to clean your tile floors. I clean my wood floors with it and be able to be safe with that. And so that's the On Guard cleaning concentrate that doTERRA has. All right, what else did I want to tell you guys about toxic load? I think one of the biggest things right now that I'm finding is that we're going places where they are using a lot more chemical cleaners than we had maybe been using in the past. And because of the things that are going on in our world, right? Making sure that people are, our surfaces are clean and that sort of thing as we're trying to combat what's going on. And it really is having an impact on our body. I mean, I know that for sure. For me, I've had, different things happening, and I can really point it to that. And so what that means for me is that I'm having to increase the things I'm doing to detox my body. So detox baths are an incredible way to support your body. So using some unscented bath salts, adding a little bit of your favorite essential oil or an essential oil that really supports detox. doTERRA has Zendocrine, which I love to use in my detox baths. It is a detoxification blend, lots of oils in there to help support the body naturally detoxing. So upping that, using those oils, internally for some of the oils, making sure that we're able to help the body, those organs that are designed to do this but get overtaxed. So the more we can kind of tap into our foods and our oils to help support detox, incredibly important, especially as we're exposed to things that are kind of out of our control when it comes to cleaners in other places. I already talked about being a label detective. I think that's just incredibly important for us to get super curious about it. There's some apps out there. You can look at the environmental, let's see, Environmental Working Group, EWG. They have an app. You can actually scan things. You can put ingredients in there. And they have really set up a really nice kind of coding system to help you kind of see the testing done on the ingredients and what sort of impact they may have on the body. Let's see. Food, actually, as we're talking about like just kind of having an idea around like things that are good, you can also look up the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. Those are ways to help you kind of decide if you're trying to figure out whether you need, like, is it okay if I eat this particular fruit or vegetable and it's not organic? Because, you know, a lot of times organic's not available in all the things that we're trying to cook with or to eat. And so this is a good way to make sure that you kind of do have some standards around where you do want to make sure that you're having organic, because they have been tested and seen that the pesticides are higher than some of the other ones. So that the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen can help support you and kind of guide you as you're looking through that piece of it too. Cleaning products, we talked about. Personal care and beauty products, same thing, you guys. Just be a label detective. Start to get curious about what's in there. Start to look up some of those things. Toothpaste was a big one for me when I started this journey. Started looking at the ingredients in there and I was floored by what these things are doing and why are they something we're putting into our mouth. And so swapping out to that, I love the doTERRA On Guard toothpaste mouthwash. They have been incredibly awesome for my dental checkups, really keeping things healthy. And so not only are they a better swap, they also are performing well too. Same thing with like body washes and body scrubs, facial care products, shampoo and conditioner, deodorants, and even first aid ointment. doTERRA has Correct X, which is an incredible first aid kind of multi-purpose ointment. And then of course you can tap into your oils to do DIYs for all of those things. But just little bit at a time. I tell people this, like, don't ever compare to, you know, your start to someone else's middle. Just do a little bit at a time. You start to run out of something and then you're like, oh, maybe I could do a swap for that, and kind of explore with the doTERRA website, see what it is that you can kind of swap out. No, there is no fluoride in the On Guard toothpaste. Great question. That was actually a huge driving force for me. There is a lot of evidence kind of coming out around fluoride and the impact on thyroid health. And so I choose to not have fluoride in my toothpaste just because of my history with thyroid issues. I want to make sure that I'm tapping into that. So no, doTERRA's toothpaste is fluoride free. Awesome. As I mentioned, I already, you know, DIY clean swap recipes, definitely reach out to me on those. I'm trying to figure out, just did a revamp on my website. I used to have all the recipes there. With the new design, I'm having a hard time figuring out how to get them all in one place. So still working on that. But if there's something you need, just reach out to me. I can get you a recipe, whether it's hand wash or all-purpose cleaners, toilet bowl cleaners, carpet fresheners, air fresheners, all those things we can make with our oils. Let's see, I already talked about the detox oils a little bit, the baths, yeah, just increasing those as we can just to make sure that we are supporting the body. Slim and Sassy is another great blend as we talk about metabolism and really trying to support the body's natural process with our hormones, as well as weight management and supporting cravings as you're trying to like kind of work out, crowd out some of those processed and sugars. Slim and Sassy is our metabolic blend. It's a really great blend to support with that. I actually like how it tastes in the water. It's like peppermint and citrus together. You can use grapefruit in your water for that. any of the citrus oils are going to be incredibly supportive of detox in the body. So just putting a couple drops of that in your water is a great way to support your body. I do recommend putting it in glass or stainless. Over time, the essential oils are so pure they can break down the plastic. And we're trying to get away from those plastics. So just use your stainless or your glass. Let's see, antioxidant support. This is incredibly important just to make sure our cells are healthy overall. So using frankincense actually topically on our breasts is a really incredible way to support healthy tissue for some targeted women's health there. Men can use this as well for the same reason. And also DDR prime is a cellular complex oil. I take this one internally to really support the body, that cellular health that we're looking for. We want our cells to be as healthy as possible so that we can support all of these things that we're looking to feel, right? We want our immune system feeling good and working good. We want our emotional support systems working well, heart health, all of our systems together. We really want these working well. So really tapping into cellular health is going to be supporting that. Turmeric, pink pepper, yarrow palm, these are also really good antioxidant support, cellular level support oils. All right, some things in my notes here are redundant. Energy is a big one, you guys. I think that I talked about that a little bit for the supplementation. Energy is a big piece of it. I kind of talked about how we're kind of living this 24-hour clock that we're trying to be up against, right? And really trying to have supportive energy. And so really tapping into that with our food, with our supplementation, and then some of our oils for energy. I love the doTERRA Motivate, incredible blend to support energy. I use that one often in the morning. Cheer and Passion, those are really great ones too. Really support that energy. And then Peppermint and Wild Orange is kind of my go-to in the afternoons for that little afternoon boost. And Spearmint's a really good one for that too. So really just kind of tapping into that, not being so hard on ourselves, but just taking some moments and seeing how the body's feeling. And, you know, whether it's we need to take some breaths, we need to do some movement, we need to, you know, stretch, give ourselves a rest, or oil up. Lots of different things that we can do if we're just kind of starting to recognize what it is the body's looking for, and honoring that and feeling like we can take the time, take the moment to do that. So just listening to our body is incredibly important, you guys. And it takes time, it takes practice to do that. But the more that we are tapping into that, we definitely are going to feel the way that we want to feel. We'll start to see these things. My website is sbellwellness.com. So if you are looking for some information there, like I said, I just revamped it. It's actually, there's not a lot there right now, just kind of some information about health coaching and some information of how to get connected with doTERRA. So if there's specific things you're looking for, feel free to reach out to me on that. And I brought up a couple things, you know, today, like this whole 24 hours versus 28 days and, you know, seed cycling or eating for a cycle, those kind of things. I would recommend, I know some people who have been here before have heard this, and I would recommend this book. It's called In the Flow by Elisa Vitti. She also wrote The Woman Code. You guys, we were just incredibly misinformed about our bodies growing up, and a lot of information was left out. A lot of culture just kind of said that these are the things our bodies deal with as women, and we're just supposed to deal with them. And it's really not true. And so it's incredibly empowering for us to actually have some resources that are really going to help guide a mind shift around this, and really empower us to feel what we want to feel versus feeling like we have to feel a certain way just because we're living in this female body. So I hope that this information was helpful for you guys today, and it's just an ever learning process. I hope that you're following along on my journey over on Instagram. I feel a lot more connected on Instagram than I do Facebook. I just love the connection that I make with people there. So you might see me a little more there than on Facebook, but I do try to keep things in my community on Facebook as well, because I know some people are not necessarily on both of them. So stay connected with that, you guys. And as always, I'll send out notifications when you have classes coming up. And then feel free to text me if you ever have specific questions or things you want to work on together. I'm happy to support that. All right.